Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Weed Physical Arts Center for tonight's doubleheader between the Keuka College Storm and the Cazenovia Wildcats. I'm Doug Lippincott. With me tonight is John Boccacino, Keuka College Sports Information Director.
Good evening, Doug.
And John, first game tonight, the men's game, is that two teams coming in, well, let's be honest, both teams are struggling. Cazenovia comes in 5-17, 3-12 in the conference. The Storm 5-16, 3-8 overall. Home game for the Storm, John. You might think going into this game that this would be a chance for the Storm to get well, but maybe not.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's some circumstances involving the men's basketball team where they're missing their two leading scorers for tonight's game. Trevor Healy, who was averaging about 17 points a game, was the third leading scorer in the NEAC. He is out for today's game. He's actually been out since the Gallaudet win, which took place on February 2nd. He injured his hand during that game, so he's missed all of the games since then. And Tyler Hickson will also not be playing today for an undisclosed reason. He will not be on the lineup for the Storm. So this is one of those real gut check games for the men's basketball program. You heard it during the pregame. It's senior night. Pat Campbell, the lone senior, he's a good role player for the team. He's shooting 57% on his three-pointers. The team's going to come out there, going to want to play and get a win for him. How much can that emotional drive to win make up for the fact that we're playing without our two best scorers?
Yeah, that's going to be tough. It's kind of been, John, a tale of 2 years for the Storm. The 2013 portion of the season was pretty good. The Storm went 4-4, had a little momentum going into the break. It hasn't been too well. In 2014, the Storm has lost 12 out of 13. They staffed a 9-game losing streak a couple weeks ago, but falling on hard times again with 3 losses. John, what does Thad Phillips tell his team? They got tonight's game, a game at Wells College this weekend. That's the end of the season. Not going to go to the NEAC postseason. What does Thad Phillips tell his team to get them fired up for this game?
I'll tell you this. There is no quit in this team. They might be shorthanded, might be without their 2 big men down in the post, but Thad has always stressed the family mentality with his team. Family being they look out for each other in the classroom, on the court, in their dorm rooms. They're going to fight hard. They'll give it their all. They went up against the Cazenovia squad that got the better of them by 10 points in late January. So I know talking to the Caz people, they're excited because they see that our 2 leading scorers are gone. But a team like this could be really dangerous if the shooters connect. And it all starts with Jared Wagner and Adam Starks on the outside. Jared had a phenomenal year last year as a sophomore. He led the NEAC in made 3-point field goal percentage, more than 50%. He's struggling this year because teams are realizing he's a really good threat. So last year he might have snuck up on some people, got some open looks from the 3. This year they're doubling him, they're getting a hand in his face. So as a result, Casey Williams has to step up, Adam Starks has to step up. All the guys across the way really need to give them big minutes tonight.
Cazenovia, 5-17, as we mentioned, 3-12. They've been struggling as well. They've lost 6 in a row, John, 9 out of 10. But listen to these last few games for Cazenovia. Listen to their point totals: 88, 73, 87, 87. They had a clunker against Cobblestone and put up 47. But before that, 89 in a loss to a very good SUNY IT team. This Cazenovia team can score the basketball.
They definitely can. They're dangerous, and it's kind of surprising how well they've been scoring recently because you look through some of their stats out here. They currently rank 6th in the NEAC in scoring average at only 72 points a game. So putting up 88, putting up 73, putting up 87, that's almost out of character for them. And when offenses score a lot, you often see the defense fall by the wayside a little bit if they're not getting back. And Caz does not have the best defense in the league. They're actually the worst, giving up 81.2 points a game. So if Thad wants to find a saving grace, it's the fact that maybe they can exploit the Caz defense, because Keuka plays pretty good defense on average, middle of the pack on defense, 5th in the conference at 72 points given up. They're 8th in the league in offense at 69 points a game. And obviously that number is again going to hurt without Healy and Hickson. But I think this really is a big gut check game for this team for this year and then going next year too. How good do they want to be? How much can they accomplish when they're faced with adversity like this?
Well, I suppose if there is a silver lining for the Keuka season, it's the fact that this is a young team for Keuka. Coach Phillips only losing 1 senior, as you mentioned, Patrick Campbell from Avon. And you got to figure the future, if he can maybe close the season on a high note, that could carry over the next season.
Oh, definitely. I mean, look at the guys that are coming back. Vinny Zambito's made some really nice strides at point guard this year. He's our leading assist guy at 3 assists per game. Adam Starks will be back. He's made really good progress on the three-pointers. Jared Wagner, Casey Williams will keep getting better and mature even more. With Hickson Healy, Miles Boyer's had some really good games down in the post. There's a lot of good things to be excited about for Thad. The one thing, though, that's kind of concerning is you do want to start seeing some wins after a while, too. And I think it's safe to say this year has been considered a disappointment, given the fact that last year we were 7-8 heading into the regular season finale with a chance to make the NEAC tournament. And now this year, Keuka's got a 4-12 conference record, 6-15 overall. So they had a real tough stretch early in the year. The first time we did our broadcast with SUNY IT, they lost by 2 points in that game. Now, I'll give our fans some insight. The Storm actually would go on to earn a win in that game because SUNY IT was playing with an ineligible student athlete. So SUNY IT had to forfeit 8 wins overall, 4 in the conference. The women, it was much worse. We'll get to that during the women's game. But the women had to forfeit, the men had 4 wins, 2 conference wins forfeited. The women had 8 games, 6 in the conference forfeited. So Keuka gets a win in that game, but I think you're right. Some momentum could really be gleaned tonight having a good showing against a good Cavs squad.
If some of you Storm fans out there will remember, in the early days of the NEAC, this was the rivalry. Keuka College and Cazenovia were almost immediate rivals from the first year of the conference play. There was a little bit of bad blood between the two teams, and every time they played, not only men, John, but women's too. Now, you don't remember because you were here. You were probably still in diapers
for 3 years.
back then.
Yeah, they called me a diaper dandy back then.
You were probably just getting ready to go to Syracuse and turn that basketball program around.
But he didn't give Boeheim credits for that.
but a really good rivalry game back then. Now, I don't know whether the rivalry is as hot as it used to be, but this is when you look for a conference, and conference is all about rivalries. This is one, if you look at, John, down the road, would be great for the conference if this rivalry between these two schools could get rekindled.
Oh, absolutely. You love a good geographical rivalry like that, for sure. Although, let's take a quick break and hear the national anthem and hear the starters out here as well.
Sounds good.
This is going to be adorable.
The anthem tonight is 6-year-old Amelia Peterson of Penn. Let's thank them all here.
We're going to have to either have them move or we're going to have to move up a little bit.
Be able to see the court a little bit more. And here we go, Doug, for the starters for both teams coming out here. We really hope that Keuka has a good, strong showing tonight because, again, it's senior night. They want to send Pat Campbell out with a good win out. Wait, where is he getting that?
Number 3, Keith Aiello.
Sorry. Our public address guy misread the team's records. Again, Keuka happens to be 6. Oh, sorry, it's from Cazenovia. Never mind. Tom Bennett does a great job doing public address work for us out here.
Number
Of course,
5.
can't forget the legendary Ed Weber taking pictures.
All the characters are out tonight.
Is Harold Gray in the stands somewhere?
I would imagine that this being the last home game for the
And in the middle,
Storm.
number 24.
they're all going to be out.
Yeah,
we're just gonna move up a little bit. We don't want to be able to miss any of the action. John, why don't you take a couple minutes before the other winter sports team, the men's volleyball team, how are they?
Men's volleyball is they're taking their lumps. I mean, they've done okay so far. They're 1-1 in the conference, 3-8 overall. They got a big win sweeping Casanova for their first conference win over the weekend. They suffered a really tough loss in 5 sets to Wells College, one of the big rivals for Keuka in volleyball out there. And Keuka had beaten Wells in 4 sets during our Invitational 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of tough to take a loss, but Keuka had a really good rally in that game. They won the 4th set to force a 5th and decisive set. Couldn't quite get over the hump in that one and fell. So tough for the Storm, but they're going to be doing pretty well for themselves. I mean, they're defending NEAC postseason champions in the program's second year. Ben Giuliano really doing a good job building up that program.
Oh, 6'2" junior.
The Storm starting lineup here tonight. One thing about Thad Phillips, whether he's winning or whether he's losing, he's always enthusiastic. Ever since he's been at Keuka, that's one thing. And here comes Pat Campbell.
And that's so nice. Pat doesn't normally start. He made 1 start his freshman year. He hasn't started all this year. For him to get the start on senior day, that's a pretty cool gesture from Coach Phillips. And there's a lot of people that just walked in that have Patrick's names actually written on their chest in gold paint up in the corner bleachers. So that's pretty cool to get the visual out there of people supporting their fellow student senior athlete.
And it just seems like yesterday because Pat Campbell was, I have the pleasure of serving on the committee for the, at that point, 4 years ago, was Experiential Learner of the Month. And Pat received that and had a scholarship to come to Keuka. Does a lot of community service, just a great kid, and having lived in Livonia for many, many years, I was aware of Pat, and of course, the home of the Braves, and the good old days with the Braves and the Bulldogs from Livonia. And
Pat was quite a sharpshooter back in his Avon days.
He was, and he was also a pretty good football player and baseball player, too. Good all-around athlete, good kid, good for
no
him.
doubt about it. Let's give our fans their starting lineups today. For Keuka, Vinny Zambito, a sophomore, Pat Campbell, the senior, Joe Tortolon, the junior, Casey Williams, a sophomore, and Miles Boyer, also a sophomore. For Casanova, Keith Caiello, a sophomore guard, Malik Adar Mountain, a junior guard, Nate Hudson, a sophomore guard, Daniel Cunningham, a junior guard, and Ryan Gavin, a junior forward. We are underway here, the first of 2 games here inside the Weed Physical Arts Center. Casanova controls the tip, looking to get that first basket against the Storm.
Pat Campbell, very aggressive early on defense.
Yeah, he's a good defensive player for the Storm. He gets out there, he's aggressive, he goes for good steals. A 3 is put up, and number 5, Nate Hudson, who is second in the NEAC in May's 3-point percentage, buries the triple early. 3-0 Caz has the lead.
Yeah, and expect to see a lot of them tonight. Maybe from both teams.
Yeah, I think there could be some outside shooting for sure if they're able to find holes on the outside of the defense. Pat Campbell launches a 3 from the top of the key. Off the rim, no good. Miles Boyer tried to go for the rebound, but eventually controlled by Cunningham for Caz. Caz running the other way. A 3 put up there by Caiello, and he gets it. That's not a good omen for the Storm, giving up back-to-back 3s like that to Caiello and Hudson.
Well, Casanova is making John and I look pretty smart, which is hard to do most of the time. But the fact that Casanova has come out and hit 2 trifectas, they like to play up tempo, they like to score. Defense, maybe not so hot, John. They just want to outscore you.
They absolutely do. And like you said during the pregame, putting up 93 points in one game, 87 in another. They put up 88 in a loss to Morrisville, which is a really good team out there too, and they had 89 against SUNY IT. So really a team that can score points in bunches when they want to. Keuka's going to have to come up with some way to slow this game down and play it in the 50s, not in the 80s like Caz wants to.
Now,
Casey Williams drives baseline, now shot partially blocked. He gets the control of the rebound, but eventually Caiello comes away with it for Caz. Sorry, Doug, didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's okay. I just... 3 for 3 from 3-point land.
Malik Adair Mountain now with the one. So 3 different players for Caz hitting triples in the early going. 9-0 is the deficit for Keuka.
And John, you made a great point. Keuka needs to keep this game in the 50s, maybe the 60s. because with two starters out, the two top scorers, they're not going to be able to keep pace offensively.
Absolutely. You don't want to say too much that a team is diminished by losing its players like that. But what Tyler and Trevor do is so much more than the 31 points a game that they average. It's their defensive presence that they provide down low in the block. When you've got two athletic people like Tyler and Trevor who can really get after it, that's imposing for teams that want to come dribble into the lane and get some penetration.
And it's 11-0 with not even 2 minutes in, so Thad Phillips calls a timeout. John, what's the men's NEAC looking like right now as we wind toward the end of the regular season?
Right now, the NEAC consists of 10 teams for the men, 12 for the women. The top 5 make the conference tournament. So right now, as of this game right here, Lancaster Bible is in first place, 15-7, 13-2 overall. Morrisville is 14-8, 10-5. They're tied with Penn State Abington, also 10-5, 13-9 overall. SUNY Cobleskill is 10-6, a really good year for the Fighting Tigers. They've been down for some time, and they're 11-11 overall. And then SUNY IT, which again had to forfeit those 2 conference wins, they're right now 2 games clear in the 5 seed. So right now they're in, and Wells needs to make a dramatic run to try to make it into the playoffs as the 5 seed.
Keuka looking to get on the board here.
Now a 3 put up in the corner. Vinny Zambito knocks down a triple. Keuka wants to play a little long-distance ball. Zambito from the corner. Boyer did a nice pump fake, got his defender off his feet, hit the bounce pass, and Zambito buries the 3.
5 field goals in this game, and 4 of them have been from downtown.
And now some big defense with Miles Boyer getting a big stuff down in the paint. Keuka going the other way. Tortolano over in the corner. Pat thought about it. Now back out to Vinny, and Casey has the ball at the top of the key for the Storm. 23 on the shot clock. Boyer down in the paint. He is stripped of it down low, but it's going to be off of Casanovia's Hudson, and Keuka maintains possession down 11-3. But Doug, if you look at it, that's some good momentum for Keuka. They got a defensive stop. Zambito buried a nice 3 from the corner, and now they have a chance to slice into this lead a little bit more.
I like what the Storm is doing, trying to get inside the Boyer. He has a height advantage and a bulk advantage.
And Miles has come along nicely this year. He's never going to be a guy as the way this offense is set up to get 15 and 15. But there he is, a nice roll to the basket. Can't quite get the layup. Second chance goes up. No, but when the big men get down there and they do work, they're going to go to the free throw line.
And Boyer that time, good second effort by Connor on that play. He'll go to the line for 2. But he clearly Thad Phillips is looking toward the big guy. And again, Casanova, again, defense, not their strong suit, offense is. And this is the way that Keuka can maybe stay in the game, John, is exploit that advantage inside.
Definitely. If only, I know Thad really wishes he had his healthy horses down low of Hickson and Healy, but Boyer can represent down there. He can play pretty well. Yegor Dukashin might play some minutes down on the post. He's got some height down there for the Storm as well, being a 6'4" guy. But right now, it's just there's not enough height. But Keuka's got to find some way to get this game back down to the lower digits again. And as we say that, Caiello knocks down another 3. That's his second 3-pointer of the game. That's the 4th. So Kaz has 14 points. 12 have come via the long ball.
That's their game, and so far it's working very well. We'll see if they can keep it up.
It is hard to sustain that momentum, Doug, for a whole game, no doubt. Casey Williams, a nice little drive to the lane. No good. Boyer with the rebound. There's some contact. No foul called. Campbell back with the rebound. Zambito thought about the 3. Down to Williams on the block. Kicks it back out. Now Joe Tortolano puts up the 3 ball. No good. The ball batted back out. Zambito and Caiello going for it. And Kaz maintains possession here on the break. A little pump fake now over in the corner. Pat Campbell confronts his defender. And a big strip of the ball by Joe Tortolano down there, getting Keuka the ball back down 14-4, 4 minutes into the first half here. Again, another good defensive possession for the Storm.
Yeah, and that was an interesting last drive by Adair Mountain for Casanova. John, he drove in and he had a lane to the hoop. But here's how Casanova thinks. He decided not to go in, kicked it out to Caiello, who he thought was going to take a 3, but didn't, and then he drove in and they lost the ball. But that's how they're thinking.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to shoot every single time they can from the 3-point range. No
they may not be afraid of the hoop, but they're not really fond of it either. They like it out here.
Yeah, they are definitely more. They would not have done well in the pre-1980s no 3-point line era. And Pat Campbell gets a rousing round of applause from the group as Jared Wagner and Adam Starks check back into the game along with Yegor Dukashin, who is a sophomore from Rhinebeck, New York. Casey Williams missed the first of 2 free throws. Second one is up. short off the front rim. Rebound pulled down by Daniel Cunningham for Casanova.
Casey never got set.
And then Cunningham tried to get the break going. A turnover as Zambito's able to get the steal, goes up for the bucket, and a chance for a three-point play. Nice play by Zambito down there.
Zambito's another kid who you got to look for the next years at Keuka College. He does have a lot of good skills. I think it's just a question of him playing more, getting more experience.
And Zambito at the line now trying to complete the three-point play. He's been a great addition to the Storm team this year. He hits the free throw, converting. He's now got 6 of Keuka's 7 points here on the night. And Doug, he is a really nice point guard. He played some good basketball for both Elba and Notre Dame of Batavia. He can run the show. Keeping him healthy is going to be the problem. He had a concussion, I believe, a couple weeks back that forced him to miss a couple of games. Actually happened in practice, not even during a game. And now Casey Williams with the steal in transition, drives the lane, gets the finger roll to fall. So after the really slow start, Doug, Keuka's got 9 points on the board, only down by 5, 14-9.
Storm in the midst of a 9-3 run, and they're doing it by attacking the rim.
Dukash looked like he had some good defense down there on the block for the Storm, but again, they call a contact foul out there on Agor. That's going to be his first and only the first team foul on Keuka.
That's the first time we've really seen Casanova really go inside to Gavin, and he got hacked. He'll go to the line for 2.
First is up, and it's too strong.
Number 40, Jim Atkinson.
Gavin back at the line now for the second of his 2 free throws. It is up, and it is good. Keuka trails 15-9 here in the early going. We are 5 minutes into the first half. Storm trying to get their offense back on a roll. Vinny Zambito has provided a huge spark for the Storm so far with 6 points. And now Wagner tries his hand at a 3, short off the front iron. Rebound pulled down by Hudson, and the Wildcats are off and running. Fast break layup, no good, denied by Starks down on the block.
Good reaction by Starks that time to deny the layup. You got to love Casanovia's shoes, John.
Yeah, you can't miss them. They're nice bright neon green out there. Keuka's got the more reserved green sneakers.
Yeah. Traveling.
Yep, Williams gets flagged for the travel on that one. Turnover Storm. Kaz has the ball back up by 6.
Storm will wrap up the regular season, as we mentioned, at Wells College on Saturday. Casanova has 2 more games left. Penn State, Abington, home, and also home to Gallaudet. That's a Friday, Saturday night back-to-back for the Wildcats. And they, too, will be looking ahead to next year.
Yeah, unfortunately, Thad's heard this theme a little bit too much during his time. You know, it's all about trying to find some positives to build on heading into the next year versus focusing on postseason basketball. I really thought this year's team was going to have a better record. I'm not trying to take a shot at the team. They had so many good players coming back, but you look at the early schedule. The close losses come back to bite you, losing to Wells by 2, losing to RIT, losing to Gallaudet by 1 at their place, Abington by 6, Berks by 4, Lancaster by 7. This team almost got in a habit of getting down by 10, 12, 15 points. They make a great comeback and couldn't quite seal the deal. Now Starks puts up a 3, no good. Pulled down by the big man, Brad Lefevre, out of Section 5's Marion for Casanova, and a traveling violation called on Kaz.
Well, I think another factor, John, too, is the NEAC, as a conference as a whole, has gotten a lot stronger over the last couple of years.
You need to speak up, too, because I'm going to have trouble hearing you.
Hello, this is Allison Bonin. This is Channel 15, reporting live from Keuka College Gym. This is the Dean Blackburn, and I'm going to ask him a couple questions. First one is, how do you feel about the size of the crowd tonight?
The crowds are always great here, and I think our opponents, ADs, and coaches often remark that we probably have the best crowd support of anybody in the conference. So it's really it's a great place to play.
Yeah, that's actually really good to hear that. Back to the game. Thank you.
For that interview, and we're going to be doing that a couple times through both our games tonight, and live in the stands. And we should mention it's a nice crowd here. Again, a good crowd turning out for the
definitely. They're watching on the ESPN Keuka channel down here, as we should brand it. Yeah, very good crowd tonight here. Oh yeah,
the leader in Keuka
in
College
NCAA
sports.
Division III sports. All right, Storm had the ball set the table for you. 15-9 is the lead for Cazenovia. We are 6.5 minutes into this Parents and Senior Day contest. Storm had bounced back from a slow start. They are only down by 6, 15-9, as Vinny Zambito's really been a spark for the Storm. Now he puts a hand for 3, and guess what? He hits it again, Doug.
Yep. And Vinny gave it the little, with his right hand, the 3.
He knew it was down.
Yeah, he knew it was there. Well,
very impressed though with the way this Keuka squad has not gone away. They were down early, 11-0 and 13-2, and they've really bounced back nicely out here. Zambito again has now 9 of the Storm's 12 points out there for Keuka.
and getting back to before we went to Allison in the stands, the NEAC, I think, when it first started, I think it was just a six-member team, and it's grown, and it's, John, a couple years ago, SUNY IT made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Division III tournament.
And then last year, Morrisville State made it to the Sweet
Morrisville
16.
State. That gives you an idea of how far this conference has come. So when you're talking about I say the old days, but
don't date yourself too much.
no, but you're right. But Keuka, Cazenova were kind of down. Medaille was in the conference. They were a good ball club. And now I'll tell you right now, the talent level, it's better. The number of teams that are capable of beating you on a given night is a lot better. That's the way it goes. But that's a good thing.
Absolutely. You want to raise the pedigree. You want to raise the profile of the conference for sure. And you don't want to have it be a school where there's 2 or 3 good teams. Everybody else is kind of bottom feeders out there. Now a layup put up there by DeMarcus Bernard. The contact by Boyer down on the block, and Keuka comes down with the rebound. The Storm, believe it or not, Doug, can tie this game with a 3-point basket here and make it a 1-point game with a jumper or a layup. Zambito back to the top. He's got the hot hand, 9 points for the Storm so far. In fact, I believe that's almost a season high for Vinny out there. Now puts up another 3. Good! Wow! Vinny Zambito ties this game at 15 apiece. 12 points for the talented sophomore out of Elba, New York.
I'm not going to call him Vinny. I'm going to call him Vin3.
That works well, Doug. And another 3 off the side iron for Cazenovia. Williams with the rebound. You wonder if Kaz is getting a little bit rattled because they almost expected to, I think, have their way with Keuka with our top 2 scorers not being in the lineup. Not so.
Well, I think that's a good point. Plus, they got out to an 11-0 lead. They're thinking this is going to be a cakewalk.
Absolutely. And guess what? The Storm have the lead. Casey Williams, a nice little jumper. He thought about a 3, stepped back inside, right by the elbow, put up a jumper, nothing but net. He's got 4 points now, and the Storm have the lead 17-15.
17-4 run.
Wow. And a swat down on the block by Miles Boyer. Off of Cazenovia. Keuka will get possession back. Boy, you really feel this place wants to erupt right now with how the Storm struggled off the gate, but now they're red hot, right on fire. 17-4 run.
Yeah.
And now Kaz puts a little token press on Zambito, bringing the ball down. He breaks it with ease, brings it across the timeline. Storm leads 17-15 here in the early going of the first half. Thad imploring his team to pass the ball around the horn one more time. Now Miles Boyer with a dump off to Casey, but they're going to say Casey's foot was on the end line. Turnover by the Storm. Kaz gets the ball back. Now down by 2, Doug.
Yeah, and talking about Vinny Zambito, he came to Keuka College well prepared because he played, as you mentioned, John, he went to Batavia Notre Dame, one of the more consistent programs in all of Section 5.
Mike Rapone is one of the most respected coaches out there by far, and yeah, if you come from one of those programs, you know you've got a good pedigree. A 3-pointer missed by Cazenovia, and the Storm had possession looking to build to their lead, up by 2.
You're using the word pedigree a lot tonight. Is there something I should know?
I have a sponsorship with a company out there, Doug. Yes, they were trying to raise the intelligence of the broadcast.
Okay.
SAT words out here.
Ah, okay.
Zambito's 3 in and out. Rebound by Lefevre for Kaz. Going the other way, down by 2. They got confronted by both Zambito and Wagner. I believe Wagner getting called for the reach-in on there, which is the 5th foul on the Storm. And if it's on Jared, it's going to be his first of the game. We might have an injured Wildcat player on the floor right there. As DeMarcus Bernard looks like he's in a bit of pain. He got confronted by 2 Storm members as soon as he came into the paint. We hope that he's not hurt anything too serious.
And of course, we are talking about high school sports. Of course, right in the middle, Section 5 tournament getting underway. I know there's some games probably tonight, and last night there were some as well. And there's I have to give a shout out to my old team at Livonia.
The boys are undefeated. They're one of 2
Undefeated.
Section 5 teams undefeated, along with Clyde Savannah. And really, right now, Livonia, Matt Young has been there forever.
Matt's
They built
got a
up a
good-
really good program out there.
Yeah, Matt's an old buddy of mine, and of course I was there when Tom Downey was the coach, the late Tom Downey, and what a fantastic coach he was for that Livonia program. Produced some great players over the years. Two sons of his have went on to do pretty well, Kevin Downey and
Kyle Downey.
Kyle Downey, both collegiate basketball players in their own right, but just a great basketball atmosphere. Section 5, all the sections have great teams, but Section 5, of course, that's the one we're familiar with, John, and I know it is today. It was when I was involved broadcasting games and things like that. Section 5, when February came around, there's nothing like tournament time and nothing like doing a game from the War Memorial.
Yep, the teams have one goal to get to the big house this time of the year. The bracket did begin, Doug. I believe Tuesday they had some first-round games for the men and for the women, along with Wednesday night, and they will continue, of course. There's some loaded brackets out there. I know Penn Yan. I don't know if Penn Yan is still around in the sectional tournament. They made the boys' field, I believe, for Class C. I'm not sure if they're still alive in the field or not.
Always an exciting time, and that's if you look at the rosters for, the teams in the Rochester area Division III, including Cuca, you're going to see a lot of the coaches. If you go to some of these Section 5 games, John, you're going to see a lot of coaches, both men and women, at those games.
Absolutely. They want to
know where
recruit
the
it.
talent is.
Oh, you got that right. They have a lot of respect for Section 5, without a doubt. All right, Kaz, inbounds off of the injury timeout. A three put up by Caiello. Off the front iron, pulled down by Joe Tortolon, and the Storm go the other way.
Casanova has really cooled off from three-point land.
Yeah, that basket's really closed up since that early stretch when they hit back-to-back threes, starting off the game. 15 on the shot clock. Tortolon goes to the left. Thought about it, now back out to Boyer at the elbow, up to Chris Nash, who just checked into the game. Jared Wagner pump fake, now puts up a 20-footer off the front rim, no good. Rebound pulled down by Caiello. Kaz going the other way. Caiello fast break layup, no good. Wagner there to Sky for the rebound, and the Storm have done a really good job, Doug. Casanova hasn't scored in at least, I'd say, 5.5 minutes of action out here. We don't have the official minute tallies of how long the scoreless streak is, but Storm playing some really good defense tonight.
They've scored a total of 4 points in the last 9 minutes. But give credit to the Storm defense.
Absolutely. They're stepping up big time tonight. 10 on the clock. Chris Nash, hesitation dribble, puts up a jumper. Off the side of the rim, no good. Pulled down by Mountain, who has the rebound for Casanova. Down 17-15, 9:20 to go in the first half. And Chris Nash gives some contact on the layup down there. Coach Phillips a little bit upset about that because it looked like the guy had nowhere to go, but Chris is trying to give him some good challenging down there. So the foul was called on Nash. That's his first, the sixth team foul on Cuca, and having 2 shots up there for Casanova. Number 32, Garfield McKenzie.
Outside of Zambito, the Storm not doing too well from three-point land or anything out of 15 feet, really. And I got to think that Thad Phillips is going to tell his charge, let's go back inside. That was working before. Let's get it into Boyer, some of our other. Let's go back to that inside game. Let's attack the hoop. You see it a lot, John, in college basketball, high school, pro basketball. Teams tend to fall in love with that three-pointer.
They absolutely
And
do, unfortunately.
sometimes you sit there and you're wondering, let's go back to what's working. Let's see if Cuca goes back to that game plan on this trip.
No, definitely. Go back to what worked for you in the first place. As Kaz misses both of the free throws out there. A rare empty trip rather for Kaz. They are down by 2 still. Really struggling. The basket must look like it's the size of a pinhole out there, how small it's playing for both these teams. Nash with a runner, no good. Rebound pulled down by Kaz again. Trying to break this scoreless streak out here. Kylo with a nice little fake. Got a defender off his feet. Now they work it back into the basket down low. Shot put up by Mackenzie. Boyer with another big block for the Storm. The big boy, Miles Boyer, playing some really good minutes out there for the Storm.
I got away
Might a
with
little
one.
contact.
Maybe.
Could you hear it from over here on press row?
I heard something.
Starks now puts up a little 6-footer. Off the side, no good, but he is fouled pretty hard on that one. I believe they're going to call the foul.
I like that play, though. I got Starks along the baseline, got free, attacked the rim.
That's
Didn't
right
get
up
the
his
bucket, but got
wheelhouse.
fouled. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Again, going back to what got you the lead in the first place. Pound it inside. Go along the baseline. Don't make the bucket. Get to the free throw line. Get the other team in foul trouble. It's
And
a game
Starks-
plan that's worked for a few teams over the years.
Yeah, I'm sure those UCLA teams with John Wooden back in the day followed that same mentality as well. It's good enough for them, it's good enough for us.
That helps when you have Lou Alcindor. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for those of you who
Yes,
don't
thank
remember
you.
before he changed his name.
Before he changed his name, yeah. And Starks makes both of the free throws. 19-15 is the lead for the Storm. As the scoreless drought continues for Casanova here tonight, they are down by 4, 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Now a jumper put up by Mountain, and it was Mountains off from being a basket. Keuka gets the rebound, heading the other way, up by 4. You can almost tell, Doug, that Kaz is looking around like, what do we have to do? Because Keuka's not lighting the world on fire with their offense, but Casanova just can't seem to buy a bucket either.
Well, that was a nice move there
Foul. Substitute number 5.
by Mountain, Adair Mountain. And he was going to go to the hoop. When he got across
Goes to line 2.
the midcourt line, there was no question where he was going. He had a player on the wing, but I think he thought he had a step on the Keuka defender a little bit quicker. Didn't make the bucket, but now he's going to go to the line to try to break this drought, and he does.
And finally, after probably more than 8 minutes of game time without Kaz having a basket, a free throw is made up there by Mountain that pulls Kaz within 3, 19-16, as Yegor Dukashin comes back into the game for the Storm, replacing Chris Nash out there. Second free throw is up by Mountain off the front iron, and Dukashin comes down with the rebound. The Storm are up by 3, 19-16. Again, this is exactly the tempo that Thad Phillips wants to have his team playing at. Slow tempo, maximize and cherish the possessions, and know that you're not going to score in the 80s. Oh, nice little spin move by Dukashin, but he traveled on that one. But that was a good little poise there. Get a drop step, go to the basket, put up strong with it.
Good entry pass, too, by Patrick Campbell, who checked back in.
Now Kaz looking to get within 1 or even take the tie with a three-pointer out here. A three-point shot is launched up, no good. Williams with the rebound. I believe that's his 4th of the opening half. And Keuka goes the other way again, holding on to that 19-16 lead here in the first half. Now Starks, a pull-up jumper, no. Too strong, but Dukashin with the rebound. Yego goes up strong with the layup, also no good. Williams fighting for the rebound, but eventually Caiello comes down with it for Casanova. That's a nice pass down there on the block for Hudson to go. They had a reverse pass from the left block to the right block. Hudson goes up with the layup and hits it. Now it's a 1-point game, 19-18.
Good no-looker.
What a game of runs this has been, Doug, too. As Jared Wagner answers with the 3 for the Storm, 22-18, Keuka has the lead, but it was 11-0 Cavs starting off, then 17-4, the Storm had a run. Now the teams are trading buckets here late in the first half. Caiello with it now, 15 on the clock. Swings it across to Mountain, who's not really much of an outside shooter. 3 put back up there by Mountain, no good. Tipped by both Jared Wagner and Nate Hudson, and the loose ball will go towards the Storm.
And don't forget, right after this game, the Keuka women will come out, and we'll talk about that more lately, but the Keuka women, John, good shape in the conference, 9-5, but kind of an up-and-down year for Katie Marcella's squad.
Actually, Doug, hate to correct you on that, but they're 10-4. The women are. The reason that you might be confused about that is some of the standings. It's hard right now, even on our website. We're still trying to figure out how to handle the forfeits from SUNY IT because all the stats from those games still count. But right now, it's going in as a forfeit win for both the Keuka women and the Keuka men. So the Keuka are 11-8 and 10-4 in the NEAC.
Okay, they're now 11-8, not 9-8. Right?
Yep. And the updated standings, as you can see, if you're here in the gym, they're provided on the back of your programs out there for you. We tabulated all of the standings out there for both squads, both the North and the South. But it is confusing, Doug, because I know that a lot of people, the rumor started spreading that IT had used an ineligible student athlete, but until it was absolutely confirmed by the school, we couldn't run anything on changing the records.
Right.
Casey Williams puts up a 3, getting back to the basketball. He knocks it down. Big time 3. Casey has 7 in the first half, and that's what the Storm's lead is, 7.
Whatever Thad Phillips said at that timeout when it was 11-0, we need to bottle that.
Can we sell that to future classes of Keuka basketball players?
What a great timeout that was.
Yeah, you talk about being inspirational and getting kids to play the right way. The Storm have been a whole different team since that first time out.
I'm a little surprised that Casanova has not called a timeout to kind of talk about this, to kind of put a little more dent in this run that Cuca has going. It's now 25-8 over the last 13 minutes.
And the first free throw is up, and it's good for Ryan Gavin, who has one more coming up here. Kaz is led by first-year head coach Michael Brooks, who used to be the sports information director at Cazenovia, as well as the assistant basketball coach. He is now the head basketball coach and the athletic director. Quite a promotion for him in the offseason.
Well, there's hope for you yet.
Oh, Doug, I don't know if you want me as the athletic director out here. Dave Sweet might have a couple things to say about that and his legacy out here. I'd love to help any way I can building that program up, but I might be a couple years away from being AD material. Not a bad thing to consider, though. And Adam starts with the Rainmaker. Gets it to fall. Another big three for the junior. They are now up by 8. Almost a tip ball down there. Caiello kicks it back out to Mountain. Dribbles in, no-look pass on the block. And Casey Williams swats that shot out of here. The Storm trying to get the loose ball possession. They don't. And a big swing and a return out here. Wow. Brad Lefevre, the big man, picks up the rebound. All the momentum going on over Casey's block. He stays with it, gets the rebound, goes up, and gets the bucket to fall. Chance at a three-point play here for Lefevre.
Well, the intensity level certainly, since we talked about that timeout, since then it's been all Cuca on the intensity level. Cazenovia had it early on, but Cuca has taken it away. And you could see it on that block. I think the Storm figure, hey, we're back in this game, we're ahead, let's win it. Let's win this final home game of the year.
And I know, Doug, there's a lot of, you can lament social media for being the downfall of modern society, but I know there were a lot of student athletes on our team who were pumped up for this game to get Pat Campbell a win. There was a big Twitter message out there that went out, pack the stands. We had flyers that were out on campus trying to get people to come out to support the last home games at the Storm have. And again, it's worked. The crowd is very enthusiastic tonight, I must say.
Well, that's part of the charm of Division III. And there's a three. Speaking of three.
Of course, who else?
Three.
Keith Caiello knocks down a three for Kaz, and it's a three-point game, 28-25. These stats will be fun to look at halftime once we get them over from the sports information staff working hard at Press Row tonight. At least we hope they're working hard in my absence. Boyer with the spin move, kicks it back out. Williams tries his hand at a three. No good. Rebound pulled down by Caiello.
John, I'd like to see Connor Boyer stick with that. I mean, he made a good pass. The man in the corner was open. But I'd like to see Connor down in that position go up for the hoop. He's got size advantage, height, and weight. I'd like to see him take that and go up for a shot. If not, make the bucket, get fouled.
And Boyer, you're right, Doug. Boyer should be taking advantage down there. But
absolutely.
To his credit, he's been maturing quite nicely this year. I believe he had a 9.9 rebound game the other day in one of the losses. He takes his hand in a mid-range jumper right there. Now, maybe if he had a better handle, you pump fake the jumper and go to the basket. But then again, they don't like big men putting the ball on the floor that much. And Daniel Cunningham makes a basket. The Storm's lead is down to 1. 28-27, 3 minutes to go here in the opening half. Now a three-ball put-up. No good. Wagner tries his hand at it. Casey Williams with the rebound. Also misses that attempt. And Kaz going the other way now with a chance to take the lead. Forcing it down on the block. Caiello with a spin layup. No good. Rebound pulled back down by Cazenovia. Layup is up. And it's good by Ryan Gavin out there. And now Kaz goes on a little run themselves. So we're going to take a quick break. Toss it back to our student reporter, Allison Bonin, for more With the Fans.
Hello, this is Allison Bonin, again reporting live from the Cuca College gym. And I am here with the new baseball coach. The game so far?
A nice job. They started out slow, but they've kept their composure and have battled back and have a 1-point lead.
And like back-to-back, head-to-head, it's a pretty tough game so far, don't you think?
So far, but they've done a good job coming back.
I believe so too. Okay, that'll be all. Thanks for watching.
I guarantee you, Doug, any of the coaches that are being interviewed during the segments tonight would much rather talk when it's not during their game than it's when it actually is during their game being played. I don't know about you, I can't stand it when they have those ESPN broadcasts and they're talking to like the baseball manager during the middle of an inning. You've got a job to do. Focus on the job, not the interview. No offense, Allison's doing a great job for us tonight. I'm just saying, I'm glad we're not talking to Katie or Thad in-game. Might be a little bit more difficult to do, especially Thad. He's quite the emotional coach. layup up and no good. Put up there by number 20, Brian Crowell, and Boyer with the rebound. Doug, you almost wonder if these teams now, they've literally weathered the storm of both Kaz's hot start and Keuka's hot middle. You almost wonder if they've done with the feeling out process, what's going to happen these final 2 minutes of the first half, because if any team can go on a little bit of run, get some momentum going into halftime, that would be huge. Zambito now kicks it back out to Wagner. Wagner, three from the corner. Count it! And it's really good, Doug, to see Jared Wagner finding his stroke again from the outside. With the exception of the game against Gallaudet, where he had a huge three to force overtime, the Storm ended up winning that game. Jared's really had some struggles this year, again, like we talked about in the pregame, because teams are marking him up so much more consistently than they were last year. He's having to fight harder and harder for every open look. But again, if he uses that as a challenge, he's only going to get better from here.
And give Casanova credit, too. They weren't hitting the three-pointers. Now they're trying to go inside, and now it's almost a switcheroo because Keuka has put up a couple of three-pointers the last few trips. But I do like Keuka's philosophy. They are still going inside. If the inside is not there, the outside is going to be open along the perimeter. Inside, kick it out for the open shot. That's almost the same thing as working inside. Inside shot's not there. That's okay. You're still going inside, collapsing the defense, which is going to free up your three-point shot.
Absolutely. You're making some opportunities for your offense out there.
So either way, it works.
It's a tried-and-true method, inside-outside game for sure. Miles Boyer too hard on the first free throw. He misses it. Yegor Dukashin's ready to check back into the game for Boyer after the second free throw attempt is up. And Boyer's attempt is up, and it's a little bit off the back iron and in. So Miles now has 2 points on 2 of 4 shooting at the free throw line. The Storm have a 1-point lead, 32-31, 1 minute to go here in the first half. Now Kaz works it in. Lefevre spin move layup up and good. The big man has some agility for Kaz down there. He's listed at 6'5", 260. The weight's not listed in the program, unfortunately, but I have that memorized because I'm a nerd like that. That's a nice, agile move for Lefevre out there. But just like that, Casey answers back with a mid-range jumper. He now has 10 points in the first half for the Storm. Really a good ending minute and a half here for both teams. 34-33 is our score. Kaz trailing by 1. Three ball is no good, and Keuka will hold for the final shot as Zambito calms his teammates down and says, hey, let's get one last solid basket out here, try to build upon our lead going into the second half.
And given the fact that it was 11-0 just 2 minutes in, Thad Phillips has got to be delighted.
Casey's turnaround attempt is no good. 3 on the clock. 2. Kaiella puts up a 3 at the horn, off the front rim, and no good. So we will go to halftime. Keuka nursing a 34-33 lead. So recap for our fans in the first half. Casey Williams has really had the strong performance with 10 points in the game. We'll give you the rest of the first half leaders after we take a quick little break here, live from the Weed Physical Arts Center. All right, we are back. My name is John Boccacino, the Director of Sports Information here at Keuka College, alongside Executive Communications Director Doug Lippincott, who has been doing the privilege of having play-by-play with me now for the second time this year. The first game was SUNY IT, a very close game. In that game, if you recall, Doug, the men had a huge lead, up 34-17. Defense playing gangbusters, and then IT kind of woke up in the second half. This story of the game, Kaz came out on fire, leading 11-0. Keuka chipped away, had a 17-4 run. Now in the Storm lead 34-33 at the break. What are your thoughts on the opening half?
Well, I give Keuka a lot of credit because we talked about it on the pregame, and playing without Healy and Hickson, their number 1 and number 2 scorers, and to fall behind 11-0 right at the get-go. Casanova was on fire. They hit 3 trifectas. They had a fast break layup. All of a sudden it's 11-0 with 18 minutes to go, and Thad Phillips is thinking, what happened? You know, it's senior night. Last thing I know, we were called a timeout, regrouped. And then Keuka, I think that there were 2 factors that I really like to see from Keuka. Defense picked it up a notch, no question, coming out of that timeout. And then Keuka decided to work inside. That got him back in the game, going inside. Now Boyer didn't score a lot of points, but it's still his presence inside made a big difference. So give Keuka credit. Down 11-0, they come back and really took it toward the end of the game. It looked like Keuka might go in 8 or 10 points up, but here comes Casanova back. They started to go inside, which sounds kind of funny. Again, we talked about it at the top. Casanova is a team that likes to score points. They have scored points. They've hit over 80 for their last 5 ball games. They know how to score. we'll see what happens. What Will's going to win in the second half will determine the outcome of the game.
Well, Doug, if I told you the fact that Cuca's only had 5 student athletes score during the game today, would you be surprised? Cuca has only 5 scorers, but they're having some pretty balanced efforts out there. Vinny Zambito, 12 points on the first half. Casey Williams has 10 points in the first half. Jared Wagner, 6 on a pair of 3-pointers. Adam Starks has 4 points on a 3 and a free throw, and Miles Boyer has 2 for the Storm. Again, they lead 34-33 here at the break.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen in the second half is I would suspect Thad Phillips to say, look, guys, we've had some success going inside. Let's go inside, dish it out if we have to. Connor Boyer, I think he still can be a major factor in this game. He's got the size over Casanova. I think you're going to see Cuca go into Connor. And again, John, we talked about it with a couple minutes ago. Don't make the shot, kick it out through the open threes. That's, I think, Cuca's recipe for success in this game. For Casanova, I don't know. They looked like they were just going to run Cuca out of the gym to start with. They were throwing up threes. They were making them 3 for 3 right from the get-go. Then they went cold. Then they started to go inside. I will be interesting to see if Casanova comes back in the second half and goes back to that helter-skelter, throw-up threes, run-and-gun philosophy, or will they try to get a little bit better mix match and go inside when they can?
Well, I think if you're their head coach, Michael Brooks, you want to see him get back to that balance that they had in the first half when they were going inside, going outside. But the thing with Casanova is they have a ton of kids who can really put up some good three-point efforts out there. And that's really what's led them out throughout the course of the season so far. Again, you look at their stats out there, they're 6th in the NEAC in scoring average at 72 points a game, but they've really been on a tear recently with those 83, 89, 88-point performances. Ryan Gavin has been their leading scorer, coming in 14.3 points a game, 9 rebounds a game. He has 11 double-doubles on the year. Keith Caiello is averaging 11.8 points a game. I believe he's got 9 or so points a game. Once we get our stats from the halftime update, we can hopefully give our fans a little more insight into what the game has been so far for stats out there. But a really close game, and unfortunately, the game doesn't have any playoff implications for either of the two squads, but that's not going to deter Thad Phillips or Michael Brooks from having their teams play really hard trying to get this big win.
Yeah, and looking ahead, now even though Cuca College is not in the NEAC playoffs, it's interesting to look at some possible matchups, John, we could see in the NEAC tournament. Again, one of the important things to remember, the NEAC has an automatic bid to the NCAA Division III tournament. What a tremendous carrot that is for these teams. And there's one of our women's basketball players, Jessica, but she's looking at me because I know I owe her money. For a fundraiser.
Yeah, let's clarify, Doug. We sponsor some of the players to make the free throws out there, make as many as they can. And
completely legitimate NCAA.
Yep, absolutely. This isn't a car wash. This isn't some kind of improper benefit out there. NCAA, don't come looking at us.
But John, we've seen how big an incentive that is. Cuca's softball team, 6 consecutive years, I believe, up until last year, had a streak broken, going to the NCAA tournament. And actually a couple years ago, taking it right to the final at the East Regional in Ithaca, coming within 1 game of making it to the Division III World Series. You never know what's going to happen when you get in that NCAA Division III tournament. We talked about that the NEAC has had a couple teams make it to the Sweet 16. That adds a lot to your conference. And looking down at this, John, Lancaster Bible, right now,
they're a really good squad, the Chargers.
I know you're more familiar with them than I am.
Yeah.
Morrisville State appears to be, Penn State, Abington, SUNY Cobleskill all in the running. SUNY IT looks like they're probably going to make the end, despite the.
There would have to be some. Wells would have to win their last 2 games.
Yeah.
IT would have to lose their 2 games, and then Wells and IT, I believe, Wells plays IT once down the stretch. So whoever wins that game gets the inside track to getting the 5 seed for the playoffs out there. But yeah, Doug, you're absolutely right about the competitiveness of the league and trying to get the automatic qualifier for a team out there. I was there with softball a couple years back when they won their 6th in a row, went down to Massachusetts for an NCAA tournament, had Cortland on the ropes. The number 1 team in their region had a lead going into the 7th inning. Unfortunately, there were 3 straight bunt singles that led to a run for Cortland that eliminated Cuca in that game out there. But the Storm have really done a good job under Dave Sweet, the athletic director, in building up really good programs that compete year in and year out for NEAC championships in all the sports. I know that the spring sports are right around the corner, but basketball for the women, they still have a good chance. They're not going to host. The way the NEAC tournament works is even if Cuca were to win the NEAC North, which right now they're in 2nd place, whoever wins the crossover game between the North number 1 team and the South number 1 team in the regular season, which for right now would have been On the north side of it, it's St. Elizabeth is undefeated in conference play. Keuka lost to St. Elizabeth by 13 on Friday night, so that's not going to happen. Keuka's not going to host for women's basketball.
The Storm come into tonight, John, a game and a half behind Wells. Now, if Wells would have to lose, I'm assuming they play Friday night.
Well, guess who Keuka plays Saturday afternoon?
Well, that's what I was getting to. Keuka goes on the road to wrap up the regular season at Wells College in Aurora, and that could be for the division title. Probably not. But
well, it definitely could be,
chance.
Doug. You're absolutely right. I mean, let's say you can't take anything for granted, but if Keuka plays the way they should against Cass tonight, they get that win. That puts them at 11-4 in the conference play. Wells, I know for a fact, has SUNY IT left, and they have Keuka left as well.
So there's a possibility.
There's definitely a possibility that game comes down to it for being the North Division title. Keuka beat Wells 77-59 back at our place here December 4th, and that game was really impressive. The Storm came out and were gangbusters, good offense, good defense. The Storm right now for the women, we'll get into it a little bit more in the pregame, but they're a little bit banged up. I don't think Jess Bandrowski is going to play again tonight. She suffered what they think was a concussion during one of the games, and she's not quite sure how long she's going to be out for. I know she wants to get out there and play. She's such a competitor, but the Storm women are coming into form pretty nicely. Let's go back to the men's game, though, for in the first half out here. We have our stats to look over. 34-33 is our score. And again, looking through the recaps, Vinny Zambito, 12 points tonight. I am 99% positive that's a season high for Vinny out there. He's been a good, solid source of 6, 7, 8 points every now and then, but never 12 and never on 3 or 4 shooting from three-point range. Other leaders, Casey Williams with 9 points and 7 rebounds, nearing double-double territory. Jared Wagner has 6 points and 3 rebounds. Adam Starks has 5 points, and then 2 points for Miles Boyer out there. The Storm are shooting only 31.4% for the game, but they're 7 of 15 on their three-pointers. So very impressive what Keuka's been able to do from the three-point range. And for Casanova, they're hitting 40% of their shots, 5 of 11 on threes, 12 for 30 overall from the field. Keith Caiello has 9 points on 3 three-pointers. Ryan Gavin has 7, and the rest of their scores, Nate Hudson with 5, and Adair Mountain with 4 for Casanova. So Keuka doing a really good job. Got to maintain some of that momentum that they gained in the first half, playing good defense, aggressive, attacking, and then playing the inside-outside game.
Well, Vinny Zambito was the key to the first half for Keuka. When the game got to be 11-0 with just 2 minutes gone, Zambito hit a couple trifectas. Zambito kept Keuka in the game early going, allowed them to come back, and then eventually take the lead, which they now have 34-33. So give Zambito credit, the kid from Batavia, Notre Dame, kept Keuka in the game when they really needed somebody, because the Storm, let's face it, John, they did not look sharp in the opening 2 or 3 minutes.
It's no knock on the team.
And
that's been an MO, unfortunately, for the Storm. The second half of all these games here is starting slow. They started slow against RIT, started slow against Morrisville, Abington, and they make these valiant comebacks, and they'll even get the lead in a lot of cases. But as you know, when you do a comeback, when you're down by so much, it takes so much energy to complete that comeback that once you get even, a lot of times you don't have that energy to really complete the deal out there.
Well, and that, John, too, that's another characteristic of a young ball team. Young teams tend to be very, very emotional. They might fall behind, they might get down, then all of a sudden they get this rush of adrenaline, and then they think they can beat anybody in the world, and then they have a... That's
the
why
humbling moment.
The humbling moment, and that's why I think what probably Thad Phillips, and maybe we can ask him after the game, looking ahead to next year, to see some leaders step forward, locker room leaders, on the floor leaders. There's nothing like senior leadership. What's that classic saying? What's the best thing about freshmen? They become sophomores.
And don't forget them for all three more years afterwards.
Tyler Ennis from Syracuse notwithstanding, who plays like a senior already. But that's what I think this team needs, that veteran leadership. And I think Tad's got some players who are ready to do that. It's just a question of will they? And he'll look at that next year. You really need that on a team. You really got to have. It's great to be young. Don't get me wrong. It's great to have a freshman, sophomore team. But it's also nice to have that floor leadership. And maybe not, John, sometimes leadership isn't always a starter, as you know. Sometimes it's kids that come off the bench. It's a kid in the locker room. Somebody in the timeout will say, come on, guys, let's go.
Leadership comes in all forms and all styles, absolutely. And I think right now the biggest thing about the team that really can benefit Thad going forward is the fact that they are still so young. It's going to be tough losing Pat Campbell, what he's meant to the team, but you can replace his leadership, I think. Trevor Healy has made some really big strides this year as far as going from being a little bit of an emotional kid last year. He's grounded. He's got his head about him this year. Same thing with Tyler Hickson. And I tell you, I'm excited for the future of Storm basketball, seeing what they can do going forward. So to give us some more stat updates out here from the first half action, rebounding total, Storm have a 27-20 edge, including 8-2 on the offensive glass. Casey Williams has 2 offensive rebounds, and Miles Boyer has 3 for the Storm. The assists are 8 for Kuka, 7 for Casanova. Miles Boyer leading the way, the big man, with 2 assists. 5 other players, along with Adam Starks, have 2. Everybody else has 1. Turnovers are 6 apiece. Blocks 5 for Kuka, none for Kaz in the first half, as Miles Boyer has 2 blocks, 1 block apiece for Casey Williams, Jared Wagner, and Adam Starks, and the steals are 4-1 in favor of the Storm. So, folks, should be a really compelling second half out here inside the Weed Gymnasium. Can the Storm pull out this big win on Senior and Parents' Day?
Obviously, it would be a great way to for the men to wrap up the season with a win today, and then go over to on the shores of Cayuga Lake, my old stopping ground, and knock off the Express from Wells College. Yeah, it's tough. And you got to give I give a lot of credit to the fans. They come out. Doesn't matter what the record is. They're out here supporting their friends, supporting their classmates. You see a lot of that. A lot of good signs in the stand.
In fact, you probably couldn't hear it, but maybe a couple minutes ago, the students started chanting Pat Campbell's Twitter handle. He's known as Father Pat, so they were giving him a nice little shout out during the stands out there. And it's nice that Pat got the chance to start. I know he didn't score. He missed both of his 3-point attempts, which hurts his 3-point percentage a little bit for the year, but he's such a good, solid guy, and he contributes to the team. Good practice player. Hopefully he gets his name in the scorebook later on tonight.
And of course, we're broadcasting this, and a good day for the Americans in Sochi. In case you didn't hear, the American hockey team won. They are now in the semifinals. The Russians, however, were beaten by the Czechs.
Finland, right?
Finland, that's right.
Yeah, the U.S. beat Czechoslovakia out there. So setting up a potential, it's going to be U.S. and Canada right in one of those semifinals. Doug, I might not be coming to work Friday morning. I want to watch that game.
That was really exciting on Saturday morning. I was watching it while I was still in. I decided just to stay in bed and watch it, and it was. I know a lot of people in hockey do not like the shootout, but you don't get much. That was very exciting. Olympic hockey, to me, I'm not a big hockey fan. I like hockey played the pure way. I don't get into the fighting.
Yeah.
That doesn't do much for me.
It's all about the graceful game out there.
The checking, the passing, the good end-to-end rushes, great goaltending. That's the way hockey was meant to play, and that's why I kind of like Olympic hockey and college hockey. Same type of play. Much more thrilling for me to watch than the goons taking over the game. I know a lot of people like it. That's why they go to the game. But for me, give me a good non-goon game. I don't know.
Maybe one day there'll be Kuka College hockey to pay attention to out here.
That would be fine, too. Here we go with the second half.
Second half underway here in the Weed Physical Arts Center. Storm nursing a 1-point lead, 34-33, as Zambito brings the ball down across now, trying to force it into Casey Williams. The pass is not there, but Zambito with the recovery. And it's nice to see, Doug. I know that they're frustrated not being in the game, but Trevor's down there. Trevor Healy was on the bench keeping stats, helping his team out. Tyler Hickson's down there with his warm-up, still cheering on the squad. So they might not be playing, but they're there to help.
There he is, 4 for 5 from downtown.
Another triple for Zambito, who also knocked down a long-range one. 4-point lead for the Storm, 37-33. We are 40 seconds into the second half out here in this big NEAC clash. Both teams trying to get some momentum. And a turnover down low, Mountains pocket pick by Jared Wagner. The Storm get the ball going the other way. Miles Boyer trying to get positioning down low. Looked like he was grabbed a little bit by the Kaz defender, but they didn't call anything except for out of bounds on Casanova. Kuka with possession, 20 on the shot clock, up by 4, 37-33.
Let's see if the Storm can reestablish that inside-outside game that paid such good dividends.
Oh, they're trying Casey on the block. He gets it. There's a loose ball scramble out there, and a timeout called by Thad Phillips. So the possession arrow does not come into factor right here as Keuka maintains possession with a full timeout, outscoring Kaz 3-0 here in the second half so far.
Well, as we look over at the scores table, there's some more dignitaries. We should give a shout out to, well, a couple of shout outs to Tom Bennett, who's on the PA tonight. And Tom's an old friend of ours and does a great job. And we also want to do a shout out for Andy Hogan and his IT crew.
Oh,
here
absolutely.
tonight.
Without the ITS staff, we wouldn't have a chance to be broadcasting these games live to you and your fans. The fact that we're able to, I mean, think about this, Doug. We didn't do anything with streaming our live games up until 2 years ago. Last year we started very slowly with the women's and men's lacrosse championships. This year we've done every basketball game, all the volleyball games, and we want to thank Andy Hogan and his staff for letting this be possible tonight, getting a broadcast out there. It's really been nice to come out there and have the technology people work with us.
Andy Hogan, of course, not long ago, recipient of a merit award at Keuka's Community Gate, as, by the way, was John Boccacino. Congratulations, John.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. It's nice to know that your hard work gets recognized. Obviously, we do this job because it's fun to help the students get the promotion for their accomplishments on the field and in the classroom, but it's also nice to get a little recognition every now and then, too.
Well, what you don't know about that is that because of that, you won't get any paychecks in August.
Darn it. Oh, the month of August, so I can save ahead and plan for that.
There you go.
I'll have to get a second job on the side.
It's a little known codicil.
I'll see if ESPN Keuka's hiring. 5 on the clock now. The Storm, do they realize that Jared Wagner puts up a 3 from the right wing? No good. It looked pure off his hand, but no good. Kylo with the rebound going the other way. Fast break layup attempt. Ball is partially swatted by Casey Williams. That gets the crowd going. They're excited by the block out there for the athletic sophomore. And more importantly, Storm had the ball up by 4.
Casey Williams has a lot of skills offensively and defensively, and that's a guy Keuka Storm fans can look forward to seeing for a couple more years.
Absolutely, being a sophomore out there.
He's going to be a key.
In the words of the immortal Keith Jackson, he's just a sophomore. Zambito missed the 3, proving he is human after all. Casanova with the ball dribble, and Kyle looked like he traveled out there.
He did.
Definitely got away with some European steps, but the layup is no good. Casey Williams with the rebound for the Storm. And now Wagner tries his hand at a 3. What do you think? Crowd reaction tells it all. Wagner sinks it. A 7-point lead for the Storm. That's his 3rd three-pointer. All 6 of Keuka's points in the second half have come via the long ball.
This half starting out just the opposite as the first half did.
Will it be 11-0 run for Keuka? Delayed call down on the block down there against Casey Williams. I believe with that is being his first foul out there, the first of the second half for the Storm.
And it's really ironic, too, that, these teams have switched their offensive philosophies. Casanova going inside, and they were all about the outside shot early in the first half, and Keuka now finding range from three-point land, and they were trying to get the ball inside most of the first half.
Yeah, it's a reversal in styles for sure out there.
That's what a good coach does, though.
Second free throw by Gavin is up and off the rim. Boyer with the rebound. Storm nursing a 6-point lead, 40-34. We have just had less than 3 minutes go by here in the second half for Keuka basketball. Adam Starks checked back into the game for Keuka. Wagner now with it out to Starks, trying to go back down low. He's got Williams on the block, but he's kind of covered by 2 guys. Watching out for the 3-second call out there. Unfortunately, a turnover for the Storm on the fast break. Mountain pulls back up. Kylo now for 3. No good. Wow. Rebound pulled down by Casey Williams.
Mountain had a layup, John.
Why would you not take the layup in that case?
And he dished it off for a three-pointer that didn't go in. And Connor Boyer on the last chip, Connor needs to take that and go up strong.
Absolutely. Anytime you got a chance for a good layup, you got to go up for it.
Seems just a little hesitant.
Now a turnover again by Mountain as Williams comes away with the steal.
Miles Boyer,
going 1-on-2. Layup is up and good. Casey's first bucket of the second half. Storm lead is up to 8, 42-34. The students trying to get a chant going up here. Let's go Keuka. Kylo puts up a 3. This time it's pure right between the basket. 42-37 now. The Storm up by 5.
Okay, we're going back to our old ways. Casanova says that's the only way we're going to catch up. So Inside game, nah, we don't like it.
Now Williams puts it on the floor, up, and no good, too strong. A delayed foul call out there. Coelho is beyond himself. That was a very delayed foul call by the refs out there. That's going to send Casey Williams to the charity stripe for a pair.
At the line, shooting 2 for the Storm, number 15, Casey Williams.
And most coaches, they might argue with the ref a foul call, but they're guaranteed whether it was a foul or not. They're not going to be happy with a delayed foul call.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, that might have been the right call, but
Yeah.
it was very delayed.
It may have been, yeah.
It was a good 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi before the call was made.
Followed
Casey
by
made
a-
the first.
Followed by a half of Alabama.
Only half, eh?
Yeah, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 2.5.
And after Casey makes both, Pat Campbell checks back into the game for the Storm, the senior. It's really his night, and the Storm really want to get him a big win on senior night. We'll see if they can do it. Kylo from the same spot he made the 3 a couple minutes ago. Missed it completely on that one. Storm with the rebound. Zambito bringing the ball down court.
I wonder where that came from, that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Why Mississippi? Why not another state?
I wonder, just by the top of my head, I would think that would be a clear way to say, and you have to enunciate because Mississippi is a long measure of time, and you know, it's not like 1 New York, 2 New York, 3 New York. You can speed through that. You can't be like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Doug, that's pure conjecture on my part.
Sounds good.
I'm not the Mississippi expert, unfortunately. So far, Cuca is outscoring Kaz 10-4 here in the beginning part of the second half as Jared Wagner comes and takes a seat on the bench. For the Storm, Cuca has a 44-37 lead. Kaz with the ball. Now the Wildcats. Shot clock, only 8 seconds have gone off. It seems like a little bit more than that since they inbounded the ball, but Coelho with the ball now for Kaz. Kicks it back out to Mountain. They're rotating the ball around the perimeter nicely. Good ball movement. Lefevre with a right-handed shot up, and it's good. I tell you, Lefevre's got a nice little game down there for Kaz.
He's 6'5" out of Marion.
And he's agile. He can move. He's got a nice little left and a right-hander for his shots. A trap in the wing. Campbell gets trapped out there. And a blocking foul is going to be called on Casanovia's Brad Lefevre. Speaking of Lefevre, Cuca getting the ball back. A fresh shot clock, 35 on the clock. Storm up by 5, 44-39. Starks with the inbounds pass now. Williams has a lead for it, but he came down with the pass securely. Now Campbell being double teamed. Now got the Starks top of the key. Thought about the 3, pulled it back down. We got Dukashin trying to force it in the post, trying to get open. He's not quite there. Casey dribbles in, puts up a quasi shot, then a pass down to Dukashin on the block. Loose ball still getting kicked around, and Adam Starks comes away with the loose ball. Kind of a frantic scene down there, Doug, coming away for that loose ball right there. And now Starks from the right wing puts up a 3 short. Lefevre with the rebound.
Lefevre doing a nice job.
Now jumper put up, and it's good. Nate Hudson with his first basket of the second half for Hudson. Pulls it to within a 3-point game, 44-41.
Well, this is what we talked about. This is the point in the game where Cuca's gotta get it together. They gotta keep playing. They gotta go inside. They gotta look for the outside shot if it's there. This is the part where a young team now seeing the lead cut a little bit. And there you go. Okay, that works. Shut up, Doug. Vinny Zambito says, I got that covered. Don't worry about it. Talk about something else. Okay.
If you can score 3, why not score 3? That's Vinny's 5th 3-pointer of the game today. He's got 18 points so far. Yeah, very good shooting for the sophomore. 47-41 is our score. A jumper put up, and it's good by Mountain from the right wing out there and knocks it down. 47-43. We are 7 minutes into the second half. Storm holding on to a 4-point lead. But again, a very impressive performance for Cuca, especially Vinny Zambito coming out, having obviously, arguably, his best game of his Keuka career tonight so far. Dukashin, a spin move layup, no good. Kaelo with the rebound. He's confronted by the man of the hour, Zambito, giving some pressure, making it not so easy to come across the timeline. And Cavs settles into their half-court offense, 25 to go on the shot clock. Back out to Mountain, dribbles back in. Three-point attempt launched up by Cunningham, and Cunningham says anything you can do, I can do better, knocking down a three from the top of the key. It's back to a one-point game, Doug. Just when you think Keuka might get some momentum and pull away a little bit, Kaz pulls him right back.
Casanova is a streaky team. We've seen that in the first half. We've seen it here in the second half. They got out of the gate slowly here in the second half, but here they are, only down a point.
Now Pat Campbell from the corner, and that's appropriate. The loudest cheer of any basket tonight was when Pat hit that three out there right there, Doug.
The Avon Assassin. Nails another one.
I like it. What if he played for the legendary John Roberts out there at Athena? Sorry, Avon.
Home of the Braves.
And Hudson counters with a three of his own. It's back to a one-point game. Again, Pat Campbell making a three on senior night. A huge crowd cheer eruption coming out there from the bleachers. Student section very happy for their senior making a big bucket on senior night. Now can they get the win? Down low to Campbell on the block. Shot is up, and it's too strong. But Dukashin, Yegor there for the rebound, and he's able to get it to fall with the rebound and the putback. 52-49 now. I thought Campbell had really good positioning down on the block. But then, of course, there to clean it up. And what do you say to that, Doug? How demoralizing is that? Coming back, Kaelo knocks down yet another three.
This is the kind of game that Casanova wants. This is the kind of game. Can Keuka hang with him?
Because right now it's at 52 all.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Keuka wants this game in the 70s. Several offensive rebound attempts, and now again, his second straight time. Dukashin with the rebound goes up strong, gets it to fall. Yegor has the last 4 points for the Storm. As Kaelo dribbles in now, kicks it out to the wing, another three-point attempt is up.
Goodness.
And Hudson cannot miss in this second half. And now Kaz has the lead, 55-54. This, Doug, is the crunch time for the Storm. And of course, Thad Phillips agrees, calling a timeout. A 1-point lead for Casanova as Nate Hudson knocked down a three. And the thing with these Kaz shooters, Doug, they're not just making their threes, they're hitting nothing but the bottom of the net. Everything's swish all the time.
They're red hot right now, and you know that's the pace that Casanova wants to play at. I know we've kind of harped on that, but this is where Kaz it now. The question is, can Keuka offensively play in this kind of a rhythm the rest of the game and win? I don't know whether they can.
The good thing for the Storm is nobody's in foul trouble.
Correct.
Which was a huge problem when Hickson and Healy were playing because they have a great style of play, but they're also aggressive. They go after block shots. They go after all the rebounds. And sometimes they get called for a couple fouls more than maybe they should have. Nobody's in foul trouble tonight, so they can run the full gamut of players out there at Kaz. I still think, though, Keuka really wants to slow this down. And as Syracuse does, cherish all their possessions. You know, run the clock down to 30 while trying to get a good shot. Don't play that up-tempo game where you're forcing it shot after shot after shot.
But it's easy to get sucked into that kind of tempo because, you know, these are kids. They want to shoot. They want to score.
They love that run and gun style.
They love the run and gun. They want to. And this is where the coaching comes in and says, guys, here's our best chance to win right here. Do what I tell you. Follow this game plan. We'll win. It's going to be an interesting 10 minutes.
I am curious to see what happens, as I'm sure all of our listeners are and viewers are out there and the World Wide Web watching this game on KeukaStorm.com. Thanks for your support. A shameless little self-plug for the new website that we launched, Doug, back in December. KeukaStorm.com will have photo galleries up from today's Senior Day ceremony, as well as there's ones up from women's basketball, their parents, and Senior Day festivities. There's all kinds of video stories we're working on. So for all your news related to KeukaStorm Athletics, go to KeukaStorm.com. Now Zambito with the floater, one of the few things he's missed tonight. Too strong off the back rim. Kaz running the other way. A fast break layup is up, and it's no good.
I think that's the first trip in about a dozen that they haven't taken a three-pointer.
Yeah, you wonder what they talked about there in their part of the timeout out there, too, whether they're becoming a little bit too dependent, too reliable on the three.
Yeah.
Now at the three, Cunningham takes 2 free throws for Casanova. Shot first up is good, and it's in. The lead is now up to 2 for the Wildcats. But again, it's still a one-possession game. No need to panic.
No,
Second of the 2 free throws is up, and it's no good. Too strong off the rim. Casey Williams with the rebound. Keuka down by 2, 56-54. Joe Tortolone back in the corner from Dundee. Out for the Storm, out to Miles Boyer. Oh, a nice pass by Boyer. Shot by Zambito, blocked on the post. Tortolone looked like he had the rebound, and there was some contact by Mountain. The Storm will maintain possession down there. I thought Zambito had a nice shot at the layup, but Gavin came in out of nowhere and got a nice little block on it for Kaz. So Keuka maintains possession, 16 on the shot clock, down by 2, 56-54. Ten on the clock now. Zambito out to Casey Williams. Got to get something going here on offense, and that's an easy traveling call for the official. Unfortunately, Casey got a little too eager, took some steps right there.
We've just been handed a note by Andy Hogan, who we talked about, that they're going to move the camera back on us during the next timeout. So, ladies
do the
and
viewers
gentlemen,
really want that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Women and children, you might want to look away. We have to give a warning.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have makeup people out here to make us look presentable on camera.
No.
A 3 put up by Mountain, no good. Rebound off of Boyer's hands. There's probably not enough makeup in the whole world, Doug, to make us look palatable on TV.
There you go.
So Mountain misses his wild 3-point attempt. Storm with possession again, down by 2. 56-54 here, 9 minutes to go in the second half. Casey, a nice driving layup, and it's up, and it's good.
Quite a bit of contact on that, too.
He's a tough player, Casey, I tell you, for being what he is, 6'2", maybe 180 pounds. He really can take a good hit down low, and he's a very solid player for the Storm. He knows how to penetrate, he knows how to find his teammates, and he's made some good strides this year for sure. Miles Boyer with a big block, by the way, down there. Sending back a shot from Kaneen McCarthy. Miles with the send away. The Storm getting possession back. Again, down by, tied now after the big basket down there by Casey. Adam Starks checks back in for Joe Tortolone.
Well, Casey Williams comes out of another great basketball program at Jamesville DeWitt. And, of course, Keuka has recruited some players from JD. They've all been really solid players here at Keuka. Of course, Jamesville DeWitt, the home of Andy Routens.
Absolutely.
Former Syracuse standout. Really good basketball program there. And I think that's what Thad Phillips has to do recruiting-wise, is go to those bigger high schools, those bigger, maybe not get the best player, because let's face it, those guys are probably going D2, D1 even. But there's a lot of good players in those bigger schools. That's where it's great to recruit from the smaller schools, don't get me wrong.
But the big schools that are competing for state championships, then they've got that Magic Wood Dog pedigree.
Yep. Again.
Oh, a nice rebound down on the block. Gavin picks up his own miss, puts it back up and in. The Storm's deficit back at 2, 58-56. Casey Williams with it as Chris Nash gets set to check back into the game for the Storm. 7:30 to play here in the second half. Williams on the block to Starks. Starks up, and it's good.
Good interior pass.
And very nice pass, by the way, out there, Doug, to find Casey to Starks on the block. The layup is up and good with the right hand, and the Storm have pulled even 58 all.
Keuka offensively has really impressed me tonight after that poor start.
Lefebvre tries his hand at a nice little right-handed layup. No good. Storm ball. Tied at 58. 7 minutes to go. Can you feel the drama?
Yes. Yeah.
Wagner tried a 3. He is not able to get his shot to fall yet here. He has 3 threes, 2 in the first half, 1 in the second, but the shot is not falling nearly as well as it was in the first half for him. Now a 3 put up of his own out there by Hudson. Rebound pulled down by Williams. He wants to run 1-on-3. Actually, that was a kind of smart move on Casey's part. He didn't try to go to the basket with it, but he got Mountain to commit another foul out there. Doug, believe it or not, we have 6:40 to go in this game. There's 6 total fouls here in the second half.
Yeah, I like that. Good fast-paced referee. Let them play both sides. That's all you can ask for.
And that has not been the case for a lot of home games this year. We've had games where there was one game where Keuka and the opponent got called for 27 fouls in the second half combined. Not good. So Zambito takes a seat. He is out there with 18 points for the Storm. Now a nice little pass to Jared Wagner, and the junior can't get that shot to fall on that one, unfortunately. Then a reach-in foul is going to be called, I believe, on Wagner as well on that one. No, sorry, Miles Boyer scratched that with the foul. That's only his second, though, for the big man from East Rochester.
Miles Boyer is a very good passer. He's really looked good tonight, dishing off. I'd still like to see him go to the tin a little bit more, but
his older brother Connor was a decent passer for the
he
Storm,
was.
too. He graduated last year.
Yep.
Comes back and sees the games every now and then for the Storm, supporting his younger brother. Coelho thought about a three, pulled it back down. Now maybe he'll fire again from way downtown, off the front rim. No good. Williams with another rebound, and that gives Casey well over 10 rebounds on the game for the Storm. He has a double-double. That's his third double-double of the year for the talented sophomore from Jamesville DeWitt. Starks now back out to Casey. Casey dribbles through two defenders, puts up a floater, and it's good. Casey now has 18 points, 10 in the first, 8 in the second half, and that little floater there gives the Storm a 2-point lead, 60-58.
Yeah.
Oh, and Chris Nash comes up with a huge turnover, going to the fast break against Coelho, puts the right-handed shot up, no good, but Nash is fouled on that one, and the junior will go to the line for two, trying to extend the Storm's lead here.
Casey Williams is going to be an all-NEAC selection the next 2 years. If he's not, something's going to be wrong. Because this kid looks like, to me, John, like he's starting to find himself. He's starting to think about. You also have Cuca's two leading scorers tonight. Casey Williams is the third leading scorer. He had to step up, and he did.
And he has in a huge
That's
way,
a great
absolutely.
Sign. It's a good sign for the future of this program.
Chris Nash too strong off the back iron for the first free throw attempt. He will have one more to go, trying to make this a 3-point lead for the Storm as the members of the women's basketball team head off to the locker room getting ready for their big game with Kaz coming up 20 minutes or so after the men's game has ended here inside the Weed. Now Nash up here with the second shot. The star from C.G. Finney High School puts up a shot, and it's too strong off the rim. No good. Storm have an empty possession on that one. Not good, Doug, to miss your free throws.
Casanova is a little bit of a drought.
Yeah, both teams finding the scoring pretty hard going. Casey Williams had the last basket with that little floater out there, but all in all, the scoring has not quite been there as much in the second half.
Oh,
and we say that on cue. Coelho hits another three. Storm now down 61-60. So here we are, 5 minutes to go here in the Weed Physical Arts Center. The Storm trailing by 1, 61-60. Chris Nash running the show for the Storm with Zambito on the bench. Casey tries dribbling in. He didn't really have too much of an angle, but Casey has no fear. He will try to find the slightest angle and thread the needle out there for the Storm. In that case, it was a kickball. Cuca gets possession and a fresh 35 on the clock.
Keith Coelho has certainly, John, doesn't have what you would call a classic jump shot, but boy, he gets the job done.
Yeah, he's definitely not your traditional shooter at all, but he's on fire tonight. Off the inbounds, a tough pass to Casey. And that ball is off of Cunningham, and the Storm will maintain possession, down by 1, 61-60. 15 on the clock. Back out to Casey. Casey takes his man, kicks it out there now. 8 on the shot clock. Cuca's got to get something going out here. Back in the corner, Starks puts up a shot, no good. But there was a lot of contact on that one. And they're going to call a push on Nate Hudson.
Again, John, neither team into the limit foul-wise, but this game's going to slow down because Casanova has not used a timeout.
That's
They got all
unbelievable.
6. It is.
It's
Considering this game, especially with so many runs.
Oh, absolutely. Would they not take a timeout at some point? And then Starks puts up a basket right there, giving the Storm back the lead, 62-61. Boy, that's crazy that Cass has not taken a timeout all game long. What are they waiting to? Are they going to take him with them for the next game, roll him over into a nice little savings account? Coelho for 3, no good. A little humor on the broadcast team out here tonight. We have some fun with the broadcast. Cunningham's 3 rolls in and out. Looks like Coelho had an over-the-back push-off on Williams. They did not call it. Basket goes up and good. And Kaz now back up by 1, 63-62.
Well, another barn burner here at the Weed.
Wagner from NBA range. No good on that shot. Cuca can't panic on those possessions, Doug. They're only down by 1. There's no need to. I know Jared's wide open, but you got to work the possession a little bit more than just putting up a good 3 there. Oh, Kiella with a nice pass down low to Cunningham, who finishes the left-handed layup. Now it's 3 points. Neither team has led by more than 3 points the last 10 minutes of the second half.
Still over 3 minutes to go, John, but I'd say this is a huge trip right here for the Storm.
Oh, no doubt. You got to come away with some points out
mentally
here.
more than anything else.
Empty possessions are not good. Starks dribbles in. Shot is blocked by Gavin. Rebound back to Dukashin. His shot is no good. He gets his own rebound. Layup up and good. I tell you, Diego Dukashin, the unheralded MVP of the second half, with 6 points out here so far. Hudson puts a 3, and just like that, he answers right back.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
dagger
the
with a
tempo.
capital D. There it is there. Not sure Casey Williams came over to the bleachers.
After a timeout by the officials on the court after Hudson hit another three-pointer out there.
Maybe a
the
Charlie
Storm are now
horse?
down by 4, 68-64. Casey's going to have to come out of the game for a time being as Pat Campbell checks back into the game again. The lone senior on the men's basketball team getting another round of applause from the fans. Big possession here, Doug. Storm down by 4, 2:40 to go here in regulation.
Yeah, this is another big one. A lot of time on the shot clock. Nothing to panic yet.
That was a nice try by Boyer trying to get Campbell, who was cutting. Doug, the thing I'm going to say right now, again, it's no knock on the Keuka team that's out there. There's not a closer who's used to handling the big shots in the final minutes of a college basketball game. Starks and Wagner and Zambito and Campbell and Boyer were all good high school players. This is where you want your players to step up and show how much they've grown in those big moments. This is a huge gut check moment for Keuka right here to develop that killer instinct. Now Hudson for 3 again, and it's good. Back to back.
You live and you die by the trifecta, and right now, Casanova is living the good life.
Keuka needs points in a hurry here now. Down by 7. 1:45 to go.
There you go. You don't need a 3. You don't need a 3.
Yep. You need points any way they come.
Zambito has had a hot hand for Keuka tonight, but I haven't seen him touch the ball much down the stretch.
Yeah, I think Kaz shifted up their defense a little bit more. He's getting guarded by a bit of a taller, more athletic player than he was before, it seems like. Now Starks from Zambito, and the baseline shot is up and good. And Thad wants to take time out to discuss that. Doug, that's a huge basket right there. Zambito, we talk about his shooting touch, but really it was a deft passing touch right down there, getting the ball on the block. Starks goes up, gets the layup to fall. Storm only down by 5 with 1:37 to go. It's really a big moment here for Keuka trying to make a comeback. They were down by 7. Those 2 threes from Hudson back-to-back really could have been backbreakers for Keuka, but if they can get a good defensive stop here, come back, still don't need a 3. This is still anybody's game out here.
And as we promised, the camera's back on, so.
Hi, guys. Well, hey, I guess the people want they want what they want, so they want to see us on the camera out here.
We
But
will
anyway,
be signing autographs between games.
Keuka right now looking at this, though, on the timeout. They take their timeout out there, and really, if you're Thad, you're talking about you don't need to foul them at any point, but there's only 4 team fouls against the Storm, so they still have 3 more to commit before they're in the 1-and-1 territory. So that's the thing to consider because time is of the essence right now, being down by 5 like this. Of course, the ideal situation being they force Casanova into a turnover, get the ball back, and get a bucket going the other way.
Well, we'll see. With 1:37, you would expect for Casanova to milk the clock a little bit. That's not their style.
No, it's not.
They might not be able to do it. We'll see if Keuka puts a little pressure on.
And they haven't even called any
force a turnover.
timeouts yet all game long either, so
No.
we'll see what they're able to do out here after this one. 1:37 to go here in regulation. Keuka down by 5, 71-66. Kaz inbounding from the student section of the Keuka bleachers out here. Ball successfully inbounded by Hudson, and Cunningham brings it across. We're going to have a issue with the game clock, it looks like, out there. They want to run it down to 30.
Yeah, 1:32 with 31 on the 35-second clock.
which I guess would make sense with 4 seconds coming off the clock out there on that little inbounds attempt. So 32 on the clock, 1:32 to go here in regulation. Storm down by 5. Can't stress enough, a big defensive stop needed here for the Storm if they want to pull out this win on senior day for Pat Campbell.
And the Storm still have 2 fouls to give before they can put Casanova in the bonus.
Absolutely. And there's one of them right there. I think that's actually a really smart move by Zambito. That was before the basket. You can't say that. Their coach trying to argue that that was a basket with a foul. No, well before that. Zambito grabbed him from behind. And that's not a bad foul, Doug, to do. They're going to need to get themselves in a situation where if they do need to foul, they're not fouling late in the game to get in the foul situation, but more they're doing it now.
No, they got to foul now to get in the penalty.
Absolutely.
That sounds strange to say, but in this situation, you want to be in the penalty.
Because then you want to have it where your next one does get the free throws if you need them instead of having 1 or 2 more to get to that shooting situation. But now Keuka playing the solid defense approach, trying to force a turnover or a miss out here. So hopefully they play good defense and don't be lazy and reach, which coaches hate it when players are lazy and reach in that situation. 7 on the clock. Caiello spins in. Right-handed layup. No good. Casey Williams had his hands on it. Now Wagner with the rebound. Down by 5. Jared's a shooter. He can put it up if he wants to. Kicks it back out. Zambito, the man of the night. It's too strong off the back rim. Rebound still kicking around out there. And Caiello with the rebound. And they're going to call Wagner. It looked like Caiello was close to being out of bounds on the end line, but they're going to call Wagner with the foul on that one. That's going to be the 6th team foul. So the next foul by Keuka sends Kaz to the line for a 1-and-1.
They got to foul right away.
43 to go on the game clock, 35 on the shot clock. Chris Nash checks back into the game for the Storm, taking the place of Pat Campbell, who has had a very solid night out here for the Storm. Doug, I figured it out. Kaz calls a timeout when they're on the verge of having a 5-second call against them, which almost happened right down here. They almost had a 5 count. They were at least at 3.5. Then their guy, Caiello, calls a timeout. So Mike Brooks discussing strategy with his Wildcats. If you're the Storm, I mean, it's as simple as this. You need stops. You need stops, you need stops, you need stops, and you need buckets. So I'm not really quite sure what they're going to be able to do to try to get the ball back, but it's one of those things where you almost need to foul right away, I think, to try to see what you can. If you can't get that steal right away within the first 5 or 6 seconds, you got to foul to try to get that ball back.
It's really not about stops. It's about fouling. Unfortunately, they're down 5. That's still a 2-trip game, but he's got to foul. It's only 1-and-1 when they go to the line. They're not in the double
bonus. And Kaz has not been
shot.
lighting the world on fire from the free throws tonight.
You got to hit. As soon as they come in, hit them, put them at the line, and then go down. You got plenty of time. Get a 2. You don't need a 3. It's very simple. If Casanova makes their free throws, they're going to win.
Yep,
if
absolutely.
They don't, you never know.
And if they don't, then Keuka's going to extend the game as long as they can by fouling. And I love that chess match of the basketball out there. It's almost like when Hack-a-Shaq was out there, and they would follow the Lakers repeatedly to extend their games. That could be a dicey situation on the court, but we're not quite sure what they're not going to flag the Storm for having 6 on the court, thankfully. That'd be a bad way to lose the game. Oh, off the inbounds pass, and Caiello. Oh, I don't know about that, Mr. Official. We don't want to editorialize too much, Doug, but there was a little contact, but the Caiello kid tripped himself, and he was on the end line. I'm not sure necessarily that's a foul on Wagner.
It was a judgment call on the official whether or not there was contact before or after the Casanova player was out of bounds. I mean, he clearly stepped on the line.
And if they want better review people, we had a perfect angle on it. We could easily give them the feedback.
We'll give it unbiased talk. We'll talk it over.
Absolutely. Consensus says keep the ball.
How's that?
Caiello's first free throw up and good. Now this is the big one here. 6 is still a 2-possession game, but making it 1 more makes it a 3-possession game, and that might be a bit of a tall task for the Storm to overcome here on senior night, but we'll see. Caiello's second free throw attempt is up, and it's good.
Not the guy you want to see at the line.
No.
But Keuka didn't have much choice there.
Find the big man Lefevre or somebody to foul out there. Now Casey dribbles in on the 3-point line out to Zambito. Thought about it. Pumps back in, put a right-hand shot up, and it's no good. Too strong off the rim. And Zambito commits the foul down block on Ryan Gavin. Going to the line now for, again, another 1-and-1. Storm down by 7. Really, Doug, it's in that danger zone. Keuka cannot afford any more points for Kaz in this situation out here.
It's now a 3-trip game, and with 30 seconds to go, you got to hope for a miss here, and you're really getting to the point where you need a 3-pointer.
First free throw is up by Gavin, no good. Wagner with the rebound, 30 seconds to go on the clock. Still have to have a sense of urgency out here. Starks for 3 off a feed from Williams, no good. Wagner tracks down the rebound, hustling all the way. Back out to Zambito from the left wing, shot is no good. And Gavin comes down with the rebound. He will be fouled hard by Casey on that one. 13.7 to go on the clock. 2 good looks for Zambito and also for Wagner on the 3-point attempt out there, and Starks trying to launch one up. It just looks like they're going to come up a little bit short in this one, down 73-66 with 13.7 seconds to go here in regulation. And Pat Campbell checks back into the game in what could be what will be his last home game for the Storm. Unfortunately, it's looking like they're not going to pull out a win here for him on senior day, but it's not for lack of effort or hustle. This Storm team never quits, even when they're down by 15, 20 points. The free throw by Gavin is missed. There's 10 seconds to go. Starks out to Pat Campbell. Pump fake. Puts it up. No, actually passes to Zambito. Yeah.
And he passed off.
Wagner puts up a 3. It's no good. They are not going to call a foul at the end. 73-66 is our final score. Cazenovia gets the win on this one. And with the win now, Cazenovia improves to 6-17. 4-12 in the NEAC. The Storm fell to 6-16, 4-13 in the NEAC. And Doug, I want to take it back again. The key moment for me in this game was when Hudson had the back-to-back threes. It was only 65-64 at that point. Hudson hits 2 straight 3-pointers from over in the wing, give them a 71-64 lead. The Storm fought valiantly, but they could not come up with the baskets when they needed to. They fall just short in this one, 73-66 again. Keuka taking the hard luck loss here on senior night. Pat Campbell, want to give it up to him for a great Keuka career. 2 years of playing for the Storm's men's basketball team. He's also on the baseball team as well, so you can come out to the baseball diamond, watch him this spring, see what he can do for the Storm's baseball team under first-year head coach Rick Furchin. But Keuka suffers the tough 73-66 loss. Doug, what are your thoughts on the game?
3-pointers. Keuka came out in the second half. They built I think it was an 8-point lead, 6 or 8-point lead right off the start. Cazenovia was struggling on offense. Keuka was actually in control of the game, and then all of a sudden, here comes Cazenovia. I recall one stretch where they hit 3 straight 3-pointers on 3 straight trips. To me, that was the difference. I guess you could go back, and Coach Phillips will go back and check the tape and see, could we have defended that 3-point shot anymore? Maybe, maybe not. But that, to me, was the great. Give Cazenovia credit. That's their strength. That's their bread and butter. They were living by it at the end. They died by it for a lot of the game, but in the end, when it counted, they hit some. There was a stretch there, John, midway through that second half where the pace picked up considerably. Both teams were running and gunning, hitting the threes, going to the hoop. A lot of action here. We said at the time, can Keuka keep up with this pace?
And they did for a lot of the game.
They did for a while.
But those 3 straight threes, Hudson hitting those 2 from the right corner was just a dagger in Keuka's heart right there. Because, again, it was a 65-64 game at that point. Hudson has a pure money shot, 2 in a row out there. The Storm end up coming up just short on this one, 73-66.
We said at the start, if it's a game in the 70s or more, Cazenovia's probably going to win. If it's in the 60s or 50s, Keuka may very well win. And that's how it worked out.
That script exactly played out the way we thought it would. We're psychics out here, Doug, on the press row table, calling our broadcast again. The end, the final score for the men's game, 73-66. Keuka falls in this one. It's the last home game of Pat Campbell's career. He finishes with 3 points. He had that big 3-pointer that put the Storm up. They gave him a nice lead at that point. It was 50-46 when he made that 3. They were only up by 1 at one point. He nails down the 3 from the corner. You think there might be some magic they can get on senior day out here. Come up just short, dropping a game, 73-66.
Well, it's kind of, we've seen you talked about it at the pregame, John. We've seen a lot. This is yet another game. Did Keuka get blown out? No, they're right in the game all the way. They got up down 11-0. They fought back. They were ahead at halftime. They built that lead in the early part of the second half. It's just knowing. It's one of those things where you get to a point in a game, and Keuka's there right now with a young team. What's going to happen when it comes crunch time? 7, 6, 5 minutes to go. It's a tight game. What's going to happen? Well, you know what? If you're used to winning those games, you're going to find a way to win. If you're not, you're not.
That's part of the growing pains
Well,
of a young
that's-
team.
exactly.
Trying
That's
to
what
get
it
up
is.
there, try to make their way into the winning record.
Getting over the hump.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, Storm could not quite do that tonight. Final recap for you. Casey Williams, heck of a game. 17 points, 12 rebounds for his third double-double this year. Vinny Zambito had 18 points on 5 of 9 shooting from threes. Adam Starks had 11 points. He was only 1 of 5 from 3, but again, 11 points, a good effort out there. Cuke actually had 48 rebounds to 41 for Kaz. And what struck you about the three-point shooting?
13 of 26 for Casanova.
That's 50% out there for the non-math majors.
Caiello, 6 out of 12. And Nate Hudson, John, you talked about him, 5, 4, 7 from downtown.
That's unreal. Hudson had 14 points in the second half. He really stepped up his game. Caiello had 13 in the second half. Caiello with his 12th double-double of the year, 22 points and 11 rebounds. Really a tough game out there for the Storm shooters. I'll tell you what, Doug, let's recap the men's game. We'll take a break, come back and ready for the women's game out here, because I don't know about you, I need some water to catch my breath a little bit from all that action out here at the Weed Physical Arts Center. We will take a break, come back with more basketball action here inside the Weed. Can you get the camera off of? $73-66. It was senior night. Pat Campbell, I know you're the lone senior on the team. A bit of an emotional night out there. Can you describe what it was like to have the fans come out in such strong support for you?
I'm going to say it was unreal. I played my freshman year. I decided to take 2 years off for some other things I wanted to handle off the court. Coming back, I knew it was going to be pretty tough coming back after 2 years, but just having everybody, I had people coming up to me that I didn't even see before, saying how excited they were to see me put on a jersey again and just bring the energy. So just having those kind of students come up to me that I've never seen before was very, very nice. I'm very blessed.
Did you get a chance to look up into the stands at all, even during timeouts, and see the amount of support between the fatheads, the kids with your letters of your name written across their chest?
Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty cool moment too.
Yeah, definitely. You don't get that too many times in a lifetime. So having my friends behind me, it was really nice to see.
Obviously, you wanted to come out with a win tonight. I know we came up just short, but given the circumstances, we're missing Tyler, we're missing Trevor. You guys busted your humps out there. How proud are you of the way the guys fought back tonight?
I'm so proud of these guys. Even not only tonight, but the whole season. I mean, we've had some bumps and bruises, but one thing Coach Mills always says that we can't have excuses. But we never win any game as an excuse. We came with the guys that we had, and we played hard.
I want to go back 4 years, and I remember interviewing you for the Experiential Learner of the Year Award, and we selected you for that honor. And I know you were excited at that time to come to Cuca College, really looking forward. Did it turn out the way you thought it would?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Coming here as a leadership figure, I mean, I know I'm not the most talented guy, especially on this team, because we got guys like Adam Stark, Jared Wagner, Casey Williams, playing behind them. It's a tough job, so I knew every day I'd be able to come in with a positive attitude. So just being able to do that and push my other guys to be better is something that I would really work towards to do.
Talk about how you were prepared at Avon High School for not only athletics, but academics and all the community service, that you did a lot of that at Avon in the community and continue to do that here.
Coming here, I was a three-sport athlete back at Avon, so I'm used to coming back to here playing two sports, so it's a little bit easier for me, but being able to do those other kind of community service things is a very nice thing off the court. It shows how well our basketball programs not only does things on the court, but off the court as well, so I take a lot of pride in that as well.
And I also noticed an interesting thing at the end of the game. They were trying to get you to take that shot from the corner, but in Pat Campbell fashion, he passed it inside.
Yeah, I saw Vinny open in the middle, so one guy's in my face. I know coaches can get too happy sometimes when I shoot a guy in my face, so I decided to pass it off. It's all right.
You have nothing to be ashamed of. It was a great career. We're glad you came back to play your senior year.
Thank you.
Hold your head up high. Your team fought really hard. You'll give Wells all they can handle on Saturday. And thanks for coming over here. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, Pat. Good seeing you again.
That was Pat Campbell. We're going to take a quick break and come back with Thad Phillips, our head coach of the men's basketball team. Stay right with us. All right, and we are back here with the post-game coverage. The Cuca College men's basketball team suffered a tough 73-66 loss today to Casanova on Senior Day. Head coach Thad Phillips joins us here. Thad, I know that today wasn't, we were missing some of our guys, but all year long we've had no excuses. We fight hard. How proud are you of the way the guys showed their heart tonight?
Extremely proud. I'll go to war with that group of young men. They're going to fight that hard every day. They did our basketball program and family proud. They did our university proud. You can't expect anything more.
That was
From a work ethic, that was absolutely wonderful.
one of the turning points in the game that we thought was early in the second half when you guys built a nice 6 or 8 point lead. Then all of a sudden, Casanova starts firing in 3 points. Was it a defensive breakdown or just good shooting and execution on their part?
Both. We had some defensive breakdowns, not picking up a guy sliding out. Go deep penetration, but give Casanova your credit. Go 13 or 26 in the game.
Yeah.
You made shots when you needed to make shots, and they hit them when they're open. And, that's the difference in the game right there.
I know it's emotional for Pat and what he meant to the program being a senior. Can you talk a little bit more about his contributions to this program?
Pat played as a freshman, and it's my first year as a head coach, and a big learning curve for me. They worked hard. We endured a lot of losing that first year, and we lost our first 8 games. And they stuck with it and kept working, and we ended up finishing, 5 and whatever, but they worked hard. And Pat learned a lot from that. Took 2 years away from the game and came back and played this year, and I said, you're a senior, we got a lot of returners. I want you to come in, no guarantees on playing time. Just come in and work hard every day and be a great leader, great role model for our younger guys on our team. And he's done that. And Pat's going to be successful in whatever he does because of that work ethic. He's absolutely just wonderful.
I guess the one positive, too, is I know you're losing Pat. He's a great leader, but he's the only senior we're going to lose in this team. I know we still have Wells to play on Saturday, but the future still seems really bright with all these underclassmen. I guess The biggest thing is how do you get them to learn how to close out games? Because we've had so many games come down to the last possession, last 30 seconds.
We've got 8 or 9 losses in conference by 7 points or less. That is a learned thing. Both as a coach and coaching staff, I've got to get better in close games. Players got to get a little bit better in close games. Just keep working. We return everybody outside of Pat. And just keep working. And that's the only thing I know how to do. Just go back to the drawing board, keep working.
We have no faith the men's basketball program is in great hands. With that, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate all the support our family gave us.
Gotcha. All right, guys, we'll take a break, come back with the women's basketball game. Stay with us. Thanks, Dad.